Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Building Championship Mindsets, the podcast. This is your host, Dr. Amber Selking, where we are in season 16 entitled Winning the Mental Game for Kids. So if you are a parent, a teacher, a coach, flip this podcast on, turn this on for your kids, and let me speak directly to you. Because kids, you're who's on my mind and heart these days. Listen, our world is in an interesting place right now. And more than ever, we need you to be at your best on a consistent basis. And so my hope is that together over the course of this season, we can learn together, we can grow together, and you can understand how to tap into the power of your mind to give you courage, to give you confidence, and to help you make right choices on a consistent basis. Because your future is made up of your choices, whatever those might be. Now, some of you might have made some bad choices in your past. But the cool thing is that does not need to define you. You can define your future based on the choices that you make today. And I firmly believe that when we understand the power of our mind and learn how to use our mind and our thoughts in a way to help us be our best self, man, it changes the trajectory. You have so much control you don't even realize. But by the end of this season, my hope is that you do. There's a lot of things that we can't control in the world, but the number one thing that we know leads to our ability to be successful on a consistent basis is in our control, because that is how we think. We learned in our last episode that you get to choose and control your thoughts. And so some people tell me, really, Doc, can I control my thoughts? Because sometimes I have these wild thoughts that feel like they come out of nowhere. So let me explain to you how this actually works. What we know is that the brain and the mind are actually different. The brain is the 2 to 3 pound mass that we all have under our skull. The mind is the spiritual side of us being human. A spirit is what makes humans different than a whale, than a grasshopper, than my beautiful Doberman pinscher, Rockney. And so when we can't actually control which thoughts come into our mind, right? We like I just said, we've all been sitting at our desk or walking down the sidewalk or riding our bike, and all of a sudden this random thought comes out of nowhere and hits our head, right? But we do get to choose or control once we're aware of that thought, what we do with it. And so it's the mind that helps us take that thought captive and bring it into submission to what we want or what we know is actually good for us. And so that's how we can actually choose and control our thoughts. We become aware of our thoughts, we grab that thought and we say, hey, is this thought helping me or hurting me right now? And if it's hurting me, then man, we want to release it and replace it with a right way of thinking or a positive way of thinking. So again, what we learned last time is that our thoughts affect our emotions, which affects our body's response, which then dictates our performance or how we show up in the moment. So thoughts are really important because they start that process. But thoughts are really, really important because repeated thoughts or thoughts that we think over and over and over again start to build what we call a mindset. A mindset is a patterned way of thinking. And when I say a patterned way of thinking, I literally mean a protein pattern that gets wired into your brain based on what you think about. So I tell my athletes, I have the opportunity to serve as the mental performance coach for LSU football. And I tell our guys, listen, guys, a mindset is just like a filter on a picture, right? You could have one picture, and if you put a black and white filter over it, it looks totally different than if you were to put a lo-fi filter over it or a color saturation filter over it. Mindsets serve as the same thing on your brain. So let's use pressure, for example. Some people say they've repeated this thought over and over and over again. Oh man, I don't do well under pressure. I don't do well under pressure. And so they've built this mindset or this Instagram filter that's kind of like a black and white filter. So every time they step into a pressure moment, maybe it's a test at school, maybe it's a difficult conversation with your parent or your teacher or your coach, or maybe it's a big game, all of a sudden that Instagram filter gets slapped over your brain and the brain thinks, oh no, I don't do well under pressure. And so you're not able to perform your best in the moment. But someone else might think, man, I love pressure. Pressure's where I get great. And so that person has repeated that thought over and over and over again. And so when they step into a pressure moment, that's the mindset or the filter that gets over their brain. And they think, yes, I love pressure. This is where I get great. And all of a sudden, their performance actually elevates. That's a mindset. And so we need to be very, very careful of the thoughts that we think, because as we think certain things over and over again, they start to become how we see the world. And so I just want to encourage you to think about what you're thinking about. You know, if you're thinking, I remember when I was a youth athlete, I got this t-shirt from a soccer tournament. It was bright orange with blue letters. And on the front, it said, I am strong, powerful, equal, a threat. I am an athlete. And I just loved it. Every time I put it on, I said that I am strong, powerful, equal, a threat. I am strong, powerful, equal, a threat. I am strong, powerful, equal, a threat. And then when I stepped onto the soccer field, guess what? I showed up like I was strong, powerful, equal, a threat. And now I have the opportunity, like I said, to serve in college football, and I'm an executive in a manufacturing company, so I'm around a lot of men all the time. But I'm thinking, man, I am strong, powerful, equal, a threat. And it helps me show up with the courage and confidence that I need to do my job really, really well. And so I want us to all think about, what are some of the mindsets that you have? And are those mindsets helping you or hurting you? Man, I'm not smart enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not good enough. If you let yourself think that over and over and over again, man, every time you step into a moment, that mindset will be activated and you'll think, I'm not smart enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not good enough. And that's not true. You are smart enough. You are strong enough. You are good enough. We just need to help you think right. And so here's the good news. Just like our muscles, if we stop working out, our muscles actually get smaller. If you stop thinking all of those negative or hurtful things about yourself, those mindsets will actually get smaller. And so if we replace those negative thoughts, if we stop thinking, I'm not smart enough, and we replace it with, you know what, if I work hard enough, I can figure this out. I can figure this out. I can figure this out. Little by little, you'll start to rewire your brain. And what we know is that we can be transformed by the renewing of our mind, right? We learn when we're little. I have a beautiful 1.5-year-old little girl named Eliana Bell, and she loves this book right now by Eric Carle, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, right? And so if you were able to read that when you were little, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, we learned that this very little and very hungry caterpillar eats and he grows, and then he goes into his little cocoon and he comes out as a beautiful butterfly. We can come out, even if we're a tiny little caterpillar right now, we can come out as a beautiful butterfly if we train our mind and rebuild our mindsets to be who we've been created and called to be in this world. So as you know, every episode, we're going to end with some championship mindset training, things that you can do to actually apply what we've learned today to help you build championship mindsets. So your championship mindset training for today is, I want you to make a list of all the helpful or positive mindsets that you have about yourself. I am strong. I am powerful. I can figure things out. I'm athletic. I'm friendly. I'm smart. I'm kind. Write those things out. Those are mindsets that you have about yourself. Then I want you to make a list of unhelpful mindsets or negative mindsets or hurtful mindsets that you know that you've built up about yourself. I'm not smart enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not good enough. I don't come from the right family. I don't come from the right side of town. My skin color isn't right. On that list, I want you to take a very important next step. Next to each one of those mindsets, I want you to write, well, how do you want to think instead? Because we need to break those mindsets down and rebuild positive, productive, healthy mindsets to help you be your very best. So like I said, maybe it's not, I'm not smart enough, but it's, I can figure this out. It might be hard, but I can figure this out. Or, man, I'm not good enough. That's not true. Maybe you're just not working hard enough. So if it's I'm not good enough, maybe it's I'm a hard worker. And so every time you come up to something that doesn't come easy to you, that's okay. Work harder. And for each one of those unhealthy mindsets, write down what is a positive mindset you want to think instead. And maybe you want to do this exercise with your parent, with your teacher, with your coach, with some of your friends. I encourage you to share these with people that you trust that can help you learn how to think right. Because sometimes we can't come up with a different way of thinking and we need help. I have so many amazing mentors in my life, but you have to find those people. You need to reach out. It's okay to have people around you. In fact, that's what helps make elite performers, great people in this world in every domain great, is they have the right people around them. So work on your list this week and start thinking about what you're thinking about. Let your mind take those thoughts captive and start to renew who you are, renew your mind, and therefore transform yourself. If there's any way that we can come alongside you on your performance journey, you can find us on our website, www.selkingperformance.com. You can follow us on all the social media platforms at Champ Mindsets. And then reach out to me directly for performance coaching, keynote speaking. Dr. Selking at selkingperformance.com is where you can find me. I also love to hear what this podcast means to you, anything that you're taking away, anything that you as a kid or you as a parent, as a teacher are seeing with your kids. We need to build our future, and our kids are it. So thank you so much for tuning in. You've been listening to Building Championship Mindsets, the podcast. This is your host, Dr. Amber Selking, and from the locker room to the boardroom, I just want to challenge you to continue building your championship mindset.